Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. First things first, a big congratulations to last week's giveaway winner, Tahaku Mansonoa. As always, I run a giveaway every single week, so if you're interested in entering and don't know how to enter, stay tuned until later in the video and I'll tell you exactly how to. That said, we've got some malicious compliance stories, so let's jump right into our first story of the day by BB Player 10. Cut my work in half? Won't hear any complaints from me. I work for a general contracting company, GC, in construction. Our job is to handle the subcontractors, SC, the smaller companies that do specific types of work and make sure they're all doing what the designer, engineer, and client want. For quite a while, the name of the game has just been document management in my department. We get a document from the subcontractors, we push it to the designer and engineer, get the document back, and then push it to the client. Basically, we just play hot potato with the documents. I handle about 100 of these every week. Generally, about 1 to 3 per week will have some kind of problem, either caused by a mistake by me, someone else, or the computer system. My manager has gotten increasingly frustrated about these mistakes as time has gone on. I've tried many times to explain the difficulty, much of which is out of our control, of getting every document processed perfectly. He doesn't want to hear it. He says my job is simple and it should be done perfectly, no excuses. At first, he tried doing some of it himself. He would do maybe 20 in a week, but about 5 would have mistakes, all caused entirely by him. He quietly stopped doing that after realizing the frustration that went along with it, and instead opted for asking for a new hire to do one part of my workload, while I continue with a different and separate portion. Sounded great to me. I've been working more than 40 hours a week and would be happy to see that decrease. This new hire has been a great guy. Great attitude, shows up to work before me almost every day, and does what you tell him. The issue is, as my manager realized firsthand, there's a lot of pedantic things you have to learn before you can send off all these documents without a hitch. He started making mistakes, as expected, and I'd send him an email if I saw it, tell him in person, whatever. Until one day, I sent him an email telling him that there was an issue, and he forwarded it to my manager because he didn't understand what I meant and I was on personal time off for the day. My manager kindly responded to both of us, saying that, "Perhaps he wasn't clear. The new hire's job is X, mine is Y, and I am not the new hire's manager and shouldn't be trying to manage him. If the new hire has any issues, he can raise them to our manager." Immediately when I read that email, I knew the inevitable fireworks that were to come. I never emailed the new hire again. We still talk, we're friendly, but I never answer his questions, never point out his mistakes, and certainly never touch any work that would fall in his territory. For a couple weeks, all was silent, and to my manager, I'm sure everything seemed to be going smoothly. That was until our monthly report. Suddenly, we are now 360 documents behind our goal, 100 that have been processed have errors, 30 of them critical, and the client is withholding funds purely because of the sudden halt in document management. The VP talked to the new hire and myself to see what was going on. The new hire was on the verge of tears, apologizing up and down, and I explained how things have seemed to be going well until our manager discouraged me from teaching the new hire the ropes. The new hire and I were both excused by the VP, neither one of us in any trouble. Our manager is currently being ripped apart by the VP as I write this for leaving the new hire out to dry. Edit, I put this in the comments, but I just heard back regarding a job I'm ecstatic about. Better pay, a bonus, better benefits, and no POS manager. For those wondering, no, my manager didn't get fired. He's just been hiding in his office since the VP was done with him. But me dropping my 2 weeks on him the same day? I can't imagine he'll forget this day for years. So if this was you, and you had sent that email trying to clarify the issues and the manager saw that and said that it's not your job to do that, would you be the type of person that would just go along with it and see how far it goes? Or would you be kind of contentious and talk it over with them and try and explain that it's all in the best interest of teaching the new hire how to operate things efficiently? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by UnicornSpaceStation. I will ask you if I need any help. I know what I'm doing. Hey, Big Mama here with yet another malicious compliance call center story. So I received a call from an older gentleman that recently purchased a virtual assistant, K-Zone Karen Echo, product name altered to protect the company from ridicule. He already had K-Zone rep on the line helping him with the setup, so I mostly spoke to him. He wanted me to check on the internet and provide them with the customer's Wi-Fi password, which I did, after authenticating the customer, of course. Just from this short interaction, I could tell that the rep is probably quite new, as he didn't sound too confident and was messing up his terminology. I asked the customer if he would like me to stick around in case they need anything else, and he agreed, but the K-Zone rep was not happy about that. The K-Zone rep said, "Mr. Customer, I have all the information I needed. There is no reason to waste his time." I say, "Oh, no worries. We have customers calling about these Karens all the time. I would love to learn more about the setup process from a professional." "Sure, no problem." The customer says, "Oh, you guys are great. With 2 of you working on it, I'm sure it'll be fixed soon." "As I said, I have all the necessary info already, but if I need anything else, I will ask." I said, "I'll be here." So there they were, working on the setup, and I was just chilling and listening. I googled the Karen Echo setup guide, and the rep was clearly following the same steps with the customer but wasn't really doing a great job. He knew the steps and the process but was quite bad at working with the customer, explaining to him what was needed from his end and leaving this older gentleman confused at times. This is a skill that takes time. Identifying what kind of customer you are working with and how to talk to him so he understands is sometimes not easy. The call was getting longer and longer, creeping on the 1-hour mark, and Karen was still refusing to connect. From the customer's description, I noticed he might be working with his TV receiver instead of his modem, so I stepped in. "Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Customer. I might have spotted the problem. Can you describe to me the black modem box you are working with?" The customer says, "Sure, give me a second." K-Zone rep, clearly annoyed that I am listening to him struggling for an hour. "Oh, so you think it's a faulty internet after all? That would explain a lot." "Not at all. The internet is running like a horse on steroids. I'm checking something else." "Well, can you check it later? We are in the middle of the setup here. As I said, I will let you know if I need anything." "My apologies, go ahead." After this exchange, even the super nice and patient customer started to be audibly irritated with the K-Zone rep as they were trying to do the exact same thing for the 3rd time. Another 15 minutes go by, and at this point I am certain that they are working on the wrong equipment as customer did provide a few more details while working with the rep. I know that it was petty, especially considering it was affecting this nice and innocent customer, but "I will let you know if I need anything," said twice is pretty clear. After the 4th try at connecting the Karen failed, customer was really losing patience and said, "What you are doing is clearly not helping. How about you swallow your pride and finally ask for help?" "He is your internet provider and he said that the internet is working fine. Karen is our product, they have nothing to do with it, so unless he lied about the internet, there is nothing." Customer said, "Enough. Ask him for help right now or give me your supervisor." "OP, are you still here? Can you help us?" "I will do my best. Now, Mr. Customer, do you have any other similar black boxes from us?" The customer said, "Well, I have one more at my bedroom. Oh, and one more in the kitchen, but that one is standing upright." I said, "Awesome. That one will be your internet box. This flat one is for your TV. We just need to repeat all these steps for the last time with the one in your kitchen." Customer said, "You are kidding me, right? For how long did you know?" I said, "I suspected it for a while, sir. I'm sorry." Customer says, "OP, do you remember the steps to connect this Karen?" I say, "Yes, sir. I have them in front of me." The customer says, "Hey, K-Zone rep, this will be all. You can hang up now. I don't want to hear one more word from you. Thank you for trying." I was expecting some backlash from the customer towards my person as well, as I clearly wasted his time with my pettiness, but he just said a few more ugly words about the other rep and asked me to prove him right about letting the other guy go. We repeated all the steps now with correct equipment, Karen connected, and we finished the setup by following the guide I googled. Customer was super happy and even asked if he could speak to my boss to praise my knowledge and explain to him why the call took so long. Oh, what a nice guy. But I explained to him that it would get me into even more trouble as this issue was outside of our scope of support and that I should have hung up after providing the Wi-Fi password. And also my manager at the time was not taking positive escalations unless customers really insisted. I also explained to the customer that my numbers are good so he doesn't have to worry about one long call hurting me. We parted on really good terms, although I felt kinda sorry for the other rep. On the other hand, it was his ego that cost him his pride in the first place, and I got a happy customer and a great story on top of that, so I'd call that a win. Thank you for reading, and Big Mama out. There's something so distinctly savage about being an internet provider service call center and just totally outclassing the person that was supposed to help them with their Echo in getting their Echo set up. I hope that other person was new because they seemed pretty incompetent to have issues the first few times without having more troubleshooting expertise. And Big Mama out. Our next story is by Shaagriel, No Outside Drinks in the Cinema. I worked a month at a cinema, and here's a story of malicious compliance by a customer. The cinema I worked at had a no outside food and drinks allowed in the theater rule. This was to boost sales of the food and drinks sold in the cinema. We, the workers, would usually let people in anyway if they brought snacks or whatnot, as the snacks and drinks inside were ridiculously priced, and the manager was cool as well. The only time this rule was actually strictly enforced was when the general manager, GM, made his rounds fortnightly. In this case, there was a storeroom where we would keep the customer's stuff and give it back when they left. This one time, a guy around late teens comes in with his kid brother and a 2-liter bottle of Coke in his hand. The general manager was unfortunately there that day and was staring right at me, so I had to ask the guys to leave it behind. They said okay. Cue malicious compliance. The rule stated that outside food and drinks couldn't be taken into the theater where the movie played, not the facility itself. Dude comes out with his brother in 15 minutes and asks for the drink. I take it out, they each take a sip, give it back, and go back inside. They did this every 10 to 15 minutes and disturbed the other patrons and interrupted my work. I was happy to comply, and after they did this about 4 to 5 times, the GM told me to just give them the bottle when they came out next, and I did. Honestly, one of my favorite moments of working there. If there's rules that you don't necessarily agree with, there's oftentimes fun ways to protest them, or at least stress the boundaries around them, and clearly this guy and his brother had the right idea, and I'm actually surprised the GM buckled and let them just have it, considering the GM seemed to be a stickler for the rules, but it worked out in the end and it made for a good story. Our next story is by Piltdownton Abbey. Sure, I'll delete all these direct bill accounts for you. A customer of mine decided that they no longer needed to keep a copy of any of their direct bill accounts that hadn't had activity for a year. In the USA, you can be audited for taxes going back 7 years. I argued with them because I've had to deal with too many IRS and FBI agents in the past to just accept that the customer knows best in this instance. We had a nice legal document drawn up and releasing us from liability and requiring them to acknowledge our concerns, and then we billed them $1,200 to write a purge script that would delete the appropriate accounts, and also because they were complete jackpots about it. Before purging, I backed up the database and told them where to find it and also had them print a paper copy of these accounts and their detail. The next year, we get a call from a very angry manager wanting to know who authorized us to purge this data as they were now enduring an IRS audit and needed to provide proof of accounts they had written off. I provided the document signed by the business owner and let her know there is a backup and where to find it. It turns out that they had also purged the hard drive to make space, deleting all backups, and they also can't find the paper copies of those accounts either. Over the price of a couple $200 hard drives to upgrade their storage, they just put themselves in a world of pain from the IRS. And if you think the IRS is even capable of giving you fair treatment, I can't tell you how many times I've had conference calls with IRS agents or their superiors trying to explain double-sided accounting and that each entry having a credit and debit is not some attempt to hide money. Combine this with not even having documentation to back up your claims, and you can see why I made such a fuss over complying with this customer's stupid request. I don't know, to me, I get the sense that this was a very purposeful action, as if they were assuming an audit type deal was coming, and this was their way of getting that trail completely nuked. Either that or it worked out where it really seems that way. I don't know the implications of that happening with the IRS involved, and quite frankly, I don't know if I'd want to know what the IRS would do. So quickly now, I want to explain just how to enter the giveaway. All you need to do is leave a comment on this video relevant to something you saw or heard or liked in any story in that video. That's it, you're entered. But it applies to every single video we upload this week. So to get the best odds at winning the $30 Amazon gift card giveaway, you'll want to leave a comment relating to any of those videos all week long. On Sunday, after the last video has gone out, I'll pick one comment at random and let you know on the following Monday who has won, and then it starts all over again. So make sure you leave a relevant comment on this video and additionally every video I upload this week for the absolute best chance to win. And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and give the videos a like too, because it helps more than you could imagine. That said, our final story of the day is by sbhoohaha. Door Girl Decisions. Just a quick bit of perfect malicious compliance. I used to work at a very fancy bar/club. Think of a 2-story ballroom nightclub. My job was to be door girl, where I stood next to security and decided if people could come in or not, whereas the security takes care of checking IDs and if the person is too drunk. A guy came up in line and the security did their checks of ID and such, which the guy passed. As one of my rules, I had to send away any guy not wearing a collared shirt. And this guy was wearing a normal tee. I told him so, and he left with his mates. Next minute, he's back in line, with 2 napkins from a club across the road tucked in the neck of his shirt to look like a collar. Couldn't turn away a guy with a collar, and as darn brilliant as that. Modern problems require modern solutions. My man had a no-collar problem and fashioned himself one of the nicest collars on the block. If you got ketchup stains or something, or you get a little sweaty. Either way, got in the club. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which one and why in the comment section down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe if you haven't and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you did, whether it was just watching the video or commenting, subscribing, whatever you do. Thank you all so very much for supporting me right here on the Storytime channel. Any single thing you do helps the channel grow that much more, and I appreciate the heck out of it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and until next time, I'll be right here on the Storytime channel.